You're not lazy, you're tired, and no, you're not broken. You're just worn out from holding it all together when no one notices, from waking up every day and pushing through without ever really refilling your own cup. Life isn't heavy because you're weak. It's heavy because you've been carrying it without help, without rest, and without any space to just be. Somewhere along the line, you got this idea that you had to be strong all the time, productive, positive, put together, but deep down you're exhausted, not just physically, soul tired. And the truth is, most people won't see it. They'll see your smile, your work, your posts, but they won't see the invisible weight you've been dragging behind you. And maybe that's why you're here, because something inside of you, quiet but persistent, is ready for better. Not louder, not busier, just better. So today, I want to give you something real. Not a morning routine that takes 3 hours, not another hustle strategy. I'm talking about 7 tiny fixes, small, quiet habits that don't demand much but return everything, habits that remind you who you are beneath the rush, habits that make you feel like a person again, not just a producer. If your life feels tired, that doesn't mean you failed. It just means it's time for a different way, a gentler pace, a softer rhythm, one that lets you breathe again. Let nuts begin. Why this matters. This world moves fast, too fast. And most of us are just trying to keep up, wake up, rush through the day, squeeze in meals, reply to messages, meet deadlines, check notifications, scroll endlessly, collapse into bed, and then do it all over again. It's a loop. And the scariest part, we've gotten so used to it, we call it normal. But deep down, something doesn't feel right. There's this quiet ache, a heaviness, like you're constantly behind, constantly missing something, even when nothing specific is wrong. You smile when you're supposed to, show up when you have to, and function well enough that no one asks if you're okay. But you're not living, you're managing. And I want to say this, not to make you feel worse, but to help you see it clearly. Surviving isn't the same as living, and you're allowed to want more than just getting through the day. You're allowed to want mornings that don't start with panic, evenings that don't end with mindless scrolling. You're allowed to crave slowness, clarity, stillness. But here's the truth. Real peace doesn't come from a massive life change. It comes from tiny intentional choices made again and again. It comes from the little things, the simple habits that remind you how to breathe, how to feel, how to exist in your own skin without pressure. That's why this video exists, because maybe no one taught you how to build a life that feels soft, steady, and real. Maybe all you've ever known is busy, but it doesn't have to stay that way. These 7 habits aren't about becoming a better version of yourself. They're about coming back to the real version of you, the one buried beneath stress, comparison, exhaustion, and noise. You don't have to earn peace by burning out first. You don't have to be more productive to be worthy of rest. And you don't need anyone's permission to start again, quietly, gently, and slowly. So before we get into the habits, just know this: you're not behind. You're not broken, and you're not alone in how you feel. You're just waking up to the fact that life isn't supposed to feel like a never-ending race. These 7 tiny fixes, they won't flip your life upside down, but they might turn your soul right side up. They might help you breathe again. And they might remind you in the most human, honest way that small things can still bring big peace. Let's keep going. Habit 1, 2 minutes of morning stillness. Before the noise, before the messages, before you remember what you need to do or who's waiting on you, there's a window, a quiet little moment right after you wake up where the world hasn't rushed in yet. Most of us miss it. We grab our phones, we scroll, we fill that silence instantly like it's something to avoid. But what if you didn't stop? What if for just 2 minutes you let yourself be instead of do? No phone, no pressure, no agenda, just breath, just being awake. Sit up, put your feet on the ground, feel the weight of the blanket you just left. Let your eyes adjust slowly, Inhale, exhale. Let that first breath remind you that you're still here, that you made it through the night, that nothing else is required of you in this moment except to just exist. 2 minutes may not sound like much, but in those 2 minutes, something sacred happens. You give yourself a chance to meet the day instead of being ambushed by it. You create space, a pause between sleep and stress, where you can choose your energy before it chooses you. And the beauty of this habit isn't about what happens in those 2 minutes. It's about what doesn't. You don't let anxiety sneak in through headlines or to-do lists. You don't let the weight of everyone else's needs come crashing in before you've even found your own breath. You don't start your day in defense mode. You start in peace. And when you do this enough times, even just 2 small silent minutes, it changes the way the rest of your day feels. You stop living reactively. You begin choosing how you show up. This habit is not about being a morning person. It's not about waking up earlier or being more disciplined. It's about reclaiming the start of your day, gently, simply, and without apology. You deserve a day that doesn't begin with panic. You deserve to be the first person you check in with, not the last. 2 minutes won't solve everything, but they'll remind you that you get to be human before you have to be useful. And in a world that demands your attention constantly, 2 minutes of stillness is a quiet rebellion. It's you choosing to lead your day, not follow it. So tomorrow, before you reach for the world, reach for yourself. 2 minutes. Just you and your breath. Let the world wait. It always can. Habit 4, step outside no matter the weather. There's something healing about the sky. It doesn't ask anything of you. It doesn't care what you look like, how successful you are, or how heavy your heart feels today. It just exists. Open, wide, constant. And sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for your tired life is to step outside and remember that the world is bigger than your stress. This isn't about going on a long walk or hitting a fitness goal. This is about opening your front door, even if just for a minute, and letting the fresh air meet your skin. It's about looking up at the sky, gray or blue, stormy or soft, and realizing you are part of something much larger than whatever is weighing you down. Even when it's raining, even when it's cold, especially when it's gloomy, go anyway. Because when you step outside, something shifts. The walls of your mind, the ones that feel like they're closing in, start to loosen. You breathe a little deeper, even if you don't notice it. You remember that time is still moving, life is still happening, and not everything has to be solved right now. The wind doesn't care about your inbox. The trees aren't measuring your productivity. The clouds don't ask you to pretend you're fine. Out there, you get to just be messy, tired, healing, trying. All of it is welcome. When life feels small, heavy, and overwhelming, the sky offers a different perspective. It says, look, you're not stuck. There's space, there's movement, there's more, and you don't have to believe it fully for it to still help. Just standing under the open sky can remind your nervous system that you're not in danger, you're just overwhelmed. And that's a big difference. We forget how much the body needs light, air, space. We get stuck inside buildings, inside routines, inside our own heads. But nature doesn't ask you to figure anything out. It just asks you to show up. So do that. Show up, step outside no matter the weather, wrap yourself in a blanket if it's cold, stand in the rain if you have to, let the breeze touch your face, let the sun or even the clouds remind you that today is happening, whether you feel ready or not. And that's okay. You don't need to walk far. You don't even need to go anywhere. Just open a window if that's all you can do. Let the outside in. Let the world remind you that your life isn't as boxed in as it feels. The habit isn't about movement. It's about connection to the world, to your breath, to something bigger than your schedule and softer than your stress. And in that connection, healing begins. So no matter how the weather looks, go out there, look up, listen, let the sky carry what your shoulders can't, even just for a minute. even just once a day. Sometimes that's all it takes to come back to yourself. Habit 5. Speak kindly, especially to yourself. There's a voice in your head that you hear more than anyone else's. It speaks to you first thing in the morning. It follows you throughout the day. It's there when no one's watching. And what it says matters more than you realize. That inner voice, it sets the tone for your entire day. And for many of us, it's not kind, it's critical, it's loud. It points out our flaws, our failures, our missed opportunities. It repeats things we heard growing up or picked up from a world obsessed with perfection. And slowly, quietly, we start to believe it. You mess up, and it says, of course you did. You always do. You rest, and it whispers, you prefer being lazy. You try, and it says, not good enough. But here's the truth. Most people never tell you, you are not weak for needing kindness, especially from yourself. In fact, the strength it takes to speak gently in a harsh world, that's real power. This habit isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about forcing fake compliments or pretending everything's great when it's not. It's about choosing words that don't add to the weight you're already carrying. It's about making your inner world a safer place to live. Try this. Next time you mess up, say that was hard, but I'm still learning. Next time you feel behind, say I'm doing the best I can, and that's it's enough for today. When you look in the mirror, instead of searching for flaws, try saying, I'm allowed to show up as I am. These tiny shifts might feel silly at first, but they matter. They build something. Every time you speak with kindness, even just a little, you're rewiring the way you treat yourself, and that changes how you show up in the world. Because the way you talk to yourself becomes the standard you set for how others treat you. It becomes the energy you walk with, the confidence you carry, and the peace you either protect or abandon. You would never speak to someone you love the way you sometimes speak to yourself. So why not start treating you like someone worth being kind to? Kind words don't make you soft. They make you steady. They make you safe. They remind you that your worth isn't up for debate. It's built in. This habit doesn't cost anything. It doesn't take time out of your day, but it will shift everything. Because when your inner voice becomes a place of compassion instead of criticism, you stop fearing yourself. And that is where healing begins. So today, make a quiet decision that no matter how the world treats you, your own voice will be the softest place you land. You will be your own home. You will speak to yourself like someone you're still learning to love because you are. And that's enough. Habit 6, cut one useless digital habit. Our phones are always within reach. They buzz, they glow, they pull us in even when we don't want them to. And the hardest part, most of the time, we don't even notice how deeply they're draining us. Not physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. We scroll to escape, but we end up more tired than before. Think about it. How many times have you opened an app just to check something and suddenly you've lost 20 minutes or an hour? And for what? A stream of highlight reels, bad news, random opinions, or someone else's life that leaves you questioning your own. This isn't about going off grid or deleting every app. It's about being honest. Honest about what's not serving you. Honest about the digital noise that clutters your mind and distracts your soul. Because not everything you consume is neutral. Some of it adds to your peace, but a lot of it steals it. So here's the habit. Cut one useless digital habit. Just one. That account you always compare yourself to, unfollow. That notification that dings every hour, turn it off. That app you open out of boredom, not intention, delete it. That endless loop of content that doesn't feed your growth, mute it. You don't have to change your entire digital life overnight, but clearing even one thing creates room to think, room to feel, room to be present. You might not realize how loud your digital world has become until you quiet one part of it. And when you do, you'll feel it. A little more space in your brain, a little less tightness in your chest, a little more time that belongs to you, not the algorithm. Cutting a digital habit isn't about punishment. It's about protection. It's about valuing your peace more than your impulses. It's about being intentional with what you let into your mind, your time, your energy. Because the more noise you cut, the more clarity you create. And here's something powerful to remember: you don't owe anyone your attention. Not every trend needs your time. Not every opinion needs a response. Not every notification needs to be answered immediately. You get to choose what enters your mental space. You have that power, even when it feels like you don't. So start with one small cut, just one. Then notice how it feels to live with a little less noise. You may find yourself reaching for your phone less often, thinking more clearly, feeling more grounded. You may realize that what you were missing wasn't more content, it was more connection with yourself, with the present moment, with real peace. This world isn't going to get quieter on its own. You have to create that quiet, one decision at a time. So today, make that decision. Unfollow, mute, delete. Not to be trendy, but to make room. Because your mind deserves stillness, your spirit deserves space, and your life deserves better than constant distraction. Habit 7, protect your evenings. There's a certain kind of silence that only lives in the evening after the calls are done, the errands are run, and the noise of the day starts to fade. There's space, space to pause, space to exhale, space to return to yourself. But for many of us, we fill that space before it even begins. We keep scrolling, keep watching, keep consuming. Our bodies may slow down, but our minds stay wired. The screen stays on. The energy never really drops. And we wonder why we still wake up tired. Evenings were never meant to be just leftovers. The part of the day where you collapse from exhaustion. They're meant to be sacred. They're the bridge between everything you've done and the rest your body craves. They're a chance to end the day softly, not with burnout. So this habit is simple, but it changes everything. Protect your evenings. Guard them like they matter, because they do. Create a gentle ritual. It doesn't have to be elaborate, just intentional. Dim the lights, light a candle, turn off the bright screens, put on music that calms you, not stimulates you. Take a shower and let the water wash off more than just the dirt. Let it rinse the tension, the worry, the pressure you carried all day. Instead of numbing out, try tuning in. How do you feel right now? What did you carry today that you can put down even just for tonight? Maybe write it out. Maybe sit in stillness. Maybe just breathe slowly, deeply, on purpose. Let the quiet become your rhythm again. Let your nervous system know that the danger is gone, that you're safe, and that it's okay to rest. And if your first instinct is to resist the quiet, to reach for something, to fill the silence, that's even more reason to practice this. Because sometimes the discomfort isn't in the stillness itself, but in what the stillness reveals. And that's where healing starts. When you begin protecting your evenings, you'll notice something. You'll sleep deeper. You'll wake up clearer. You'll stop carrying yesterday into tomorrow. You'll remember that you are not just what you do. You are someone who deserves care, gentleness, and recovery. This is instead about cutting off the world. This is about choosing to come back to yourself before the day ends. This is about making space for reflection, not just reaction. And it's about telling your body, your mind, your spirit, you have done enough for today. Let SEPs rest. The world will still be there in the morning. The to-do list, the messages, the news, it can wait, but your peace, that can't wait any longer. So tonight, try it. Protect your evening. Slow down on purpose. Be quiet on purpose. End the day like someone who deserves rest because you do every single day. Closing truth. These aren't big moves. They're not the kind of things that will make headlines or impress anyone at a dinner party. You won't post them for praise. You won't get awards for them. But they matter more than you realize, because the real heaviness in life doesn't come from what you're doing. It comes from how you're carrying it. The pace, the pressure, the constant expectation that you have to do more, be more, give more, all without pausing to breathe. But here's something no one really says. Maybe it's not the world that needs to slow down. Maybe it's just you finally choosing to live differently, choosing to pause before you begin, choosing to speak kindly to yourself when no one else can hear, choosing to unfollow what steals your peace and protect what restores it, choosing stillness in a world obsessed with speed. That's what these tiny habits do. They interrupt the cycle, they create breathing room, they help you remember that you have a say in the way your life feels. Because life doesn't change all at once. It shifts in the small decisions, the quiet boundaries, the simple rituals you repeat until they become your rhythm. You don't need a dramatic transformation. You need consistency, grace, patience, and the courage to live a life that actually feels good from the inside. And I want you to know it's okay to want that. It's okay to want peace more than performance. It's okay to want slower mornings and quieter evenings. It's okay to crave soft things in a world that tells you to be hard. You don't have to wait for permission. You don't have to wait for burnout to give you a reason. You can choose today, one habit at a time, one moment at a time. Maybe your life doesn't need an overhaul. Maybe it just needs a gentler rhythm, one that lets you exhale again, one that feels like home. So if you've been feeling tired, not just sleepy, but tired, I hope you know that you're not broken. You're just ready for better. Not bigger, just better. And it starts here with these tiny fixes, with this slow, steady choice to come back to yourself. This is how healing begins. Not in loud, flashy steps, but in the quiet ones you keep taking, even when no one else sees, even when it feels small. Because over time, those small things, they become your life. And this time it will feel like yours. Which of these 7 habits speaks to your soul the most right now? Which one made you pause and think, that's what I've been needing? Tell me in the comments, not just for you, but for someone else reading who might feel the same way and just needs to see they're not alone. Let's build a space of calm together, a space where it's okay to slow down, a space where gentleness is celebrated, not shamed. Your words matter here. When you share, you create connection. And in a world full of noise, that kind of connection is rare and powerful. So take a second, reflect, drop your answer below. This isn't about engagement, it's about healing in community. And if something inside you whispered yes while watching this, if your heart leaned toward the idea of a life with more stillness and less stress, if you're done with the endless chase and ready to build something better, softer, truer, yours, then hit that subscribe button. This space isn't for hustlers or highlight reels. It's not for performance or pressure. It's for the people who are choosing peace over perfection, the ones learning to breathe again, the ones healing quietly, the ones who want real lasting change, not from outside advice, but from inner alignment. Subscribe now. Let's keep going together, one gentle step at a time.